Fanfiction! Reading Obi Wan, my one and only. That sounds like a stupid thing. Very stupid. Whatever. Reading. Obi Wan, the one for me. Hi, Emma Sky. The desert sun rays burned off my tan skin. I came to the training camp to prove I'm good enough to be taught by a real Jedi Master. But one in particular, Obi Wan Kenobi. His name rhymes for no freaking reason. Though of course he probably doesn't know I exist. Of course he doesn't. Other than quickly going over my profile. Maybe he noticed my picture. Maybe he looked a little longer. I imagine his handsome sculpture features. He didn't have any facial hair like some of the Jedi Masters. Yes, he did. He was young, handsome, and strong, and he was in his mid-20s. He had established himself as a top Jedi. But most importantly, he was #1 in my heart. This is stupid. I snapped out of thought. I placed my hands on my sculpt hips and smiled at the sun. That'll do it. I was dressed in a sheer white top that exposed my midriff, and white long strips of fabric that ran between my legs and two split into side exposed my upper thigh. So you're basically wearing stripper wear. Makes sense. My long sandy blonde hair brushed against my back as the hot air blew around my slick figure. It turned out she was a dude. I'm going to make him notice me. Yes, today is the day he's going to see me and choose me as his apprentice. This music is fitting. Then I'd always be with him by my side, a pearly white smile over my pink lips. Oh yes, he'll notice me today. I'll make sure of it. As she called upon the powers of Satan, Stan, and 666 Bloody Rice, and 111 Samus Ridley for Eva 2006. Ari called one of my comrades. Come over to the group is moving now. A group of apprentice Jedis gathered, all different races and aliens. I would assume different races meant aliens too, but whatever. All had talents and gifts, but I had to outshine them all. Some soldiers had joined us from and swarmed around the students. They were here in case we'd come into any trouble. Then my gaze saw him gliding in the air like an angel as he jumped over the crowd and landed gently on the desert floor. All the students watched him eagerly, waiting to hear his command. His sand hair glowed in intense sun. My heart melted at the sight of him, taking a deep breath, deep breath, deep breath, deep breath. I gazed at him as his eyes passed over the students, and for a split moment met mine. My breathing stopped. My heart raced and fluttered. It was a moment when my whole existence stood still. Turning away, I started to breathe. Come on, breathe, I told myself. I gotta keep a cool head. My intense emerald eyes gazed toward him. A slight stroke of weakness filled my legs. I cast my sight downward and jogging towards the others, holding back a blush. I should stop singing the song. Our group's orders were to head due north. We would meet a traveling band of raiders, the bad kind, because there's no good kind. There would be machine guns and grenades. It was really old technology, but still dangerous. We were crouched at the impasse for them to arrive. We waited in anticipation as the dust in the distance rose in the sun. My weapon lay next to me, a half-sword and gun that became separate when the fight would come, but now lay like a silver lace at my side. Oh, okay. Thank you, Xbox. Obi-Wan talked to a stern, calm minority tone, asking him and his men to forfeit their goods they stole and be peaceful about their surrender. The rough men watched him and wore sneers and dangerous smiles. The leader screamed back and raised his weapon, and then the explosive sound of fire rounds began. What? At once, everyone was in the fray. Gunshots whistled and lightsabers flashed through the air. Excuse me. The desert dust picked up and swirled like a tornado around the flight, tearing apart my weapon. Gun in one hand, saber in the other, and rushed into the heat of battle. I couldn't make out the clouded figures, but there is in the midst of the heat and the dust I saw one hideous bandit. It was Clown. With a mighty blow, he struck one of my companions in the face. His body flew into the ground limp. Wow, Clown, you knock people limp? No wonder. Never mind. I rushed head on forward to the bandits. My sword flashed like through the light in the air and sliced on his bulky arm. He let out a roar, and I felt one of them punches impact with my shoulder. Growling, I held back my pain, grating my teeth. I held my gun and aimed it straight at his face and pulled the trigger. His head shot back with the force of impact, and he fell like a tree. I saw another bandit coming from my side. My keen eyes caught the machine gun sparks as they erupted from his gun. I flipped out of the way, landing my hands and back on my feet with agility. I aimed my gun and fired. The bullet hit his forehead, another down, and then I killed Clown. Then I found another bandit come from behind me and grabbed me. He forced crushing my body. My survive instincts ran like a wild through my veins. I thrust my silver sword back into his flesh. His flesh. His grip dramatically loosened. I pulled my sword and swung it around and thrust it deep into his abdomen and ripped it down. Then I realized the horror of death and of feeling before my eyes. The man screamed in agony, collapsed, and I stood over my victim in a kind of trance. I felt the cruelness of war fill my blood. I heard the yells and cries around me as my comrades and soldiers drove the smugglers to defeat. The dust died down in a body, and crimson blood covered the dust. Awesome. Sure, these men were killers, but does that make it okay to do justice like that? I thought to myself. A Jedi life must be like that of night to protect the innocent from harm, and these men had raped, killed, and plundered. I gazed down at the man I killed. Clown. But a Jedi must forsake all pleasure in life to be devoted to justice. My mind then imagined Obi Wan. Could we ever be together? I was determined to make him my master and serve under him in that way. In many other ways too. I could possibly be by his side, yes. But my heart ached as the thought of not reaching out and stroking his face as his soft eyes looked into mine. I smiled gently and went over to one of my comrades and helped him to his feet. The end.